Now, this might seem too obvious of a thing to explain because you wouldn't be taking this course unless you didn't have any debt. However, I think it's important for me to lay down a foundation so we are all on the same page. Debt is straight up borrowed money. It's not even yours. It never was, and it never will be. You borrow this money now so you can spend it. And that's cool, right? I need some quick cash so I can go do whatever I got to do. Here's $1,000. Go play. But once the fun is over, you realize you have to pay it back. And not only do you have to pay it back, you usually have to pay much more than what you borrowed. So you lose money. Bummer. Essentially, you spend the original principal, then you have to pay more due to interest. And how much will I really pay though? What's going on? How much are you really going to pay? And it's largely based on your interest rate. So the interest rate is the maker or breaker. The extra amount you repay is determined by the interest rate, or APR, and APR stands for annual percentage rate. And I'll probably use APR, annual rate, interest rate interchangeably. But for our example purposes, it's essentially all the same. And I'm a man of practicality here. So let's see some real deal numbers. Let's see how APR actually affects our debt. So let's say you have a student loan of $1,000. And principal just means the original amount, that starting amount that you wanted. So your principal is $1,000. And remember in elementary school, they said you could remember principal and principal because you had a principal in your principal. And in finance, it's similar. The principal could be a good pal or it could be a bad pal, depending on where your principal amount is. If you're investing, that's a good thing. But if it's in debt, that's a bummer. Anyway, you got a student loan, your principal is $1,000, your APR is 2.5%. So over the course of the year, you're going to end up paying $25 in interest alone. That's $1,000 times the 2.5%. You get $25. So you're paying $25 in interest alone. That's just interest. Let's do it again. Let's say you got a car loan and your principal is $1,000 and you have an APR of 14%. We're getting up there, and this is not out of the range of what those interest rates really are. 14% of $1,000 is $140. So that first year, you're going to pay $140 in just interest. So think about it. Now you're paying $1,140 total instead of just the straight 1,000 principal. Let's pound it into our heads. You got, whoa. Back it up here. You got a credit card. And you have a principal of $1,000, but your APR is 28%. Once again, not unreasonable for credit cards. I don't know why they're so high, but in this, they are. This APR is 28%. You end up paying $280 in that first year alone. That's crazy, right? So that's pretty much how interest works. It's $1,000 times your 28% APR, and you're getting $280 in interest. And it starts to add up really, really fast. It's kind of a lot. So not only do you pay back the principal, you pay back the interest. And another thing to consider, and we'll go into more detail when we talk about compound growth, is how time affects it. Time is a huge factor in how much you're going to end up paying. The longer the life of the loan, the smaller your payments are going to be. But the longer the life of the loan, the more time that interest has to grow. And then you're going to end up paying more, right? So if you're having a 30-year loan, you get to make little chips away at it for the next 30 years, but your interest rate is just having a heyday, just growing and growing and growing. However, if you do a 15-year loan, for example, you're going to pay a little bit more chipping away at it until you're paid off in 15 years. But that interest rate also is going to have it's going to be squeezed. It's not going to have an extra 15 years to grow like a 30-year would. And we're going to see how debt grows with time in mind in the next video. I'll see you there.